helpful too.
That reminds me to tip too, so we're not. And it just it works great.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I have a question.
Take care of your bartender so your bartender can take care of me.
All right, as a new driver, I'm not for sure certain about this. Are the customers allowed to exit the bus with a drink?
No.
Okay.
Well.
No.
Is that kind of iffy? No.
We're doing no.
Okay.
We'll stay with no. That way we can keep the cups off from the sidewalks.
Yeah, even if open container is kind of iffy right now, we don't need to put that much trash on the street. That's another target to put on our back.
That's right. That's right. So
And you don't really want to be having that, having your license in question either.
It's hard for they always bum rush Redneck too to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
David and Ethan do a lot for us. That's hard on them.
That's true, because they're trying
We can't make them the bad guys for a tour we just rolled.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question about the time. We're still on 30 minutes from the time we park, our next group leaves in 30 minutes, right?
Right.
All right, I'm asking drivers which this happens especially earlier in the year and later in the year and all during the year. But sometimes you'll have a tour that don't start till an hour after. Just as soon as you get your group off, if you've got an hour wait,
Go somewhere
You
else.
cannot wait.
Or go up the street and park and where we can.
you can even go to Nissan you want to park.
Yeah, and spend the shuttle if you're driving a shuttle bus. If you're making a drop off, drop them off.
Your street?
Yeah, the street I live on, there's a semi truck that parks there like across the street from my house, like all the time.
Oh, but it's residential. We have to stay out of residential. Great idea, but we have to stay out of residential. Yeah, so nobody, please, and I wish the new drivers were here, go to residential areas. Zero, zilch. Don't do it if the guests say, oh my God, we left our alcohol. Too bad. Guess what? We're stopping at Frugal McDougal or the gas station. That's on them. So
Right,
because
it's your time. And I tell you, or of course, they set them up on weekends, they set the, later at night sheriff's department. But you can go down there earlier in the day and park under the bridge over by, Riverfront. You know what I'm talking about, where the buses turn around? Of course, come dark time, they set the portable jail up over there, the booking thing. And I try to stay away from that. Not that I'm doing anything illegal.
Joe, you know you turn yourself in sometimes.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing, I ain't going over after dark.
So that's from first-hand experience.
just
I was gonna add this in for Ann. So guys, like we do still have 30-minute gaps between our tours. It's buses leaving every 10 minutes. That being said, the 30 minutes is going to be when we are like booking for season. Right now, if you are working and there is a 12:30 and you're getting done at 2:30, if the next tour is at 2:50, you may be scheduled for that. Our gaps may be slimmer until we start booking out just to keep people working more. So just keep that in mind, because like if you need it for reference, go look at the schedule. It's color coded. You'll see like once we start booking out, you'll be all the gray tours. But right now, to keep more people working, you may have 10 to 20 minute gaps.
Yeah,
you may
we
have
had that
30.
in
You may
summer,
have a 3. Like you may have 30 minutes. You may have a 3-hour gap. So just keep that in mind. That's for more when we start booking out to full season.
And that's why it's important to get people off the bus.
The bus.
yes, and your gaps may change like they have with us before because someone's running late or this or just something's going to happen no matter what. Even having a powerful, teammates making shit happen. Every once in a while, something's going to happen where it's going to shorten up your time. Don't be frustrated about it. It is what it is. Just allow, go with the flow. It's ebb and flow.
And that's what I was gonna say, Jane's good about that, if it does, if your tour is, if you're late or they're late and you still run, I know that we're gonna try to eliminate that.
Yes.
Jane is good at saying, if they're late, and she'll come over and say, all right, we're rolling you guys till 7 o'clock. If we're starting at
If they're on
5:30.
time, I tell them 2 hours.
Right.
If they're 5:30, they get there at 5:50. I tell them you're ending at 7:30.
Right.
Yep.
So you keep that in mind, and then you don't have at the end of the tour going, whoa,
We were
did our
supposed to have 2
you know?
hours, right?
Which,
Right.
you know, I really hadn't run into that too much. But,
I have a few times,
you know,
and I made it known to them when they jumped on late.
Yeah, we usually
You
let
ate
them
some of
know.
your time.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Unless
Yeah.
it's our fault, and if it's our fault,
Right.
they get their full 2 hours.
yeah, I
Right.
like when they
Yes,
apologize to me, I go, well, don't apologize to me. That's your time.
I've always told them if they're late. I mean, I've had so many lates that, and they're cool with it.
And
They know it's their fault.
Yeah.
And then when we book these things, that is gonna be stated to them that if your tour starts at 5:30,
It always is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
if
several
there's
emails.
14 of you and there's 12 of you there, 12 of
Yes.
you's rolling at 4:30 or 5 or whatever you.
What will end up happening that we as bartenders, we're going to be the ones that have to recover from this. So everybody needs to start troubleshooting a way to do it. Your tour starts at 5:30, even if they're 3 minutes late, you will have to at least go around the block. So whereas they were only going to lose 3 minutes because they were late, they're going to be penalized for that transport around the
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
And they may be upset about that, but you're just going to have to explain this is why we make it imperative for you to be there on time. We all get manifest. Does anybody text their groups in the mornings? You do? I do it. I say it's imperative you are on time. You cannot have glass. Reach out with any questions. I know it's tedious, guys, but like it makes a difference.
You can send
Don't they?
It holds them accountable to a certain degree.
Don't they tell them to be there 15 minutes before?
They do, but
Nobody
everybody
ever
knows
says
that none of these people read any of the emails we
Right.
send
So
them,
when you
right?
send in your
So if you
email,
send a text message in the morning, they still have
reminding
2
them.
hours to transfer glass. Know they've got to get there early.
It's a good idea maybe to send a pretext, do a pretext.
That's what I do.
When it comes to like all the Google links and stuff like that for all of our reviews, I have all that set in there. All I do is just change the bartender's name, or I mean the driver's name, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just, that way you don't have to take
Yeah,
it.
because a lot of times the ones that's late will have the alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that really throws them up the rinse in your
Or
face.
they're trying to run to the liquor store, and I'm like, holy Lord.
Anyone doing shuttles? They're notorious for being late. They're screwing around, doing whatever. I've even got there and they're still taking showers. So I always text them ahead of time. I will be there at such and such time. We have to leave because I got other rides behind you. So whatever you need to say, shuttle drivers do the exact same thing. Send those messages to pick it up. Because if they're running late, someone's tour's running late, which backs up possibly the next tour.
And it doesn't make you an asshole. These people like to know that somebody is in control and they can relax and just party.
Yeah.
You guys can be like firm with them.
Was it you and I that had that group that was bowling or something?
Yeah. That like would not get onto the shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that eats into their time.
That's right.
Do you know as a company, are we doing 21 and up only? For sure.
Yes.
Yes.
No bandy.
Yes. Yes.
No double Xing anything. We are 21 and up solidly now.
Okay, so
think
there
that's
can't be some
way
19-year-olds.
No red band.
Awesome.
Bachelorettes can't have
So every
underage
weekend
anymore.
we're gonna do.
Good.
Jane will let the bartenders know. It's gonna be, Yelp this weekend, Facebook, Google, TripAdvisor. She'll let you know, and just push, because that helps
T-shirts now, right?
immensely in sales.
We have T-shirts now.
We have T-shirts. We haven't ordered another batch.
Okay.
We're gonna do something a little different with that as well. Probably just have the person or persons that will be working at Old Yeehaw to sell them there.
Can we get us white T-shirts?
Or at least the light
Because
color.
black is hot in the summertime.
And it catches everything but money.
Or maybe not cotton.
I mean,
Catches
all these
everything
little
but-
shit on it. It's like, oh, you're
Little fuzzy.
Dog hair.
I really need some new shirts.
Piggybacking on the reviews, guys, we cannot make that check-ins responsibility anymore. I know we said, like, we're going to be even busier this summer, 10-minute
Yes.
time slots.
Yes.
You're going to have to try and get them on the bus or really push it on the back end. Because
Cool.
they can't be checking in 100 people and doing T-shirts for 100 people.
Dane and I have had 20-minute intervals. We have that bus clean
Yes.
done 10 minutes before we have to roll. She's already cleaning up before we're pulling up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the last
So
call
then
is
all
that-
we have to do is
Yeah,
wipe
that's
down
a
the
really good
seats,
idea, the last call.
get
I've
them
done
on,
that too.
and go.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it runs a whole hell of a lot smoother.
If you have
When they're off.
stragglers that stay on the bus during
Yeah.
like the bathroom break, if we can park somewhere, get them to do reviews then.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Drivers with pictures, obviously later in the night, coming from wherever it's going to be your P-stop, oh yeehaw. Sometimes with that traffic, you may not have time. The bartenders are aware of this as well. So you may be doing pictures wherever you can. Maybe you're doing it real quickly before you drop them off. I don't know how that's going to work because I don't know.
Or maybe you don't do pictures because we've got so many during the tour.
Yeah,
that
I've
it's so
done
20
that
minutes.
before too.
Sometimes,
That's
yeah, we've had
happened.
to just,
And some groups
Not
don't
doing
care
them
for
Right,
phones,
right,
you know, so
right,
that gives you a
right.
break right there.
Yeah. Or, you know, while cruising down the road, the bartender gonna say, hey, you know, y'all group together, we're gonna do some pictures, woo! That will work.
And you're
Yep.
saying
Yeah.
pictures as in after the bathroom break, the stadium, if available?
Yeah, if they can't make it to the stadium and back
Or-
on time, do it while you're driving
Cause I
down
like
the road.
going to the stadium, it kinda gives me
I
a
go to the
break.
stadium
sometimes.
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yes.
what I was gonna say.
Before the bathroom.
Yeah.
I go to the
Yeah.
I think a
stadium.
lot of drivers have
Before the
flipped to
bathroom
going
break,
before the
Once you
bathroom.
get the pictures done at the stadium,
I like
head to the
Straight to the
bathroom.
smoke room.
You know they get them that way.
She gets off,
I
takes a
don't, when
picture.
it's late at
Never
night
look
and the
left-handed.
traffic is hell, I will not take, you know, Second to Broadway to that way. I'll take Korean straight
Right.
down.
Straight up.
Yeah, then go around
Yeah.
the stadium that way.
Yep, yep, because it's just
I've done that.
pointless at
Yes.
that point.
It's imperative, if I can, this is one thing, it is imperative. And I know anybody that's ridden with me, and I've texted you a lot, because I do with Richard, I'll be like, and Will, yeah, I'll be like, hey, remember, we gotta be there 10 minutes before, you know, because getting to our destination on time has, as best you can, has
Mhm.
everything to do with how successfully we can get people on and off. If we're running 15, 20, and 25 minutes
Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
it's screwing up our entire
You're
day.
losing
You can't do
traffic
it.
time.
You gotta stay on top of your times.
Absolutely.
And I know me, I will irritate you, and I'm sorry, it's not intentional. It's just to keep us both tracking. Hey, just reminding you, we have to be
I'm always
there
on
in 10
time.
minutes.
You're amazing, dude.
I know.
I understand.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
And yeah, while you're during the day, you know, communicate with one another. Just don't do pictures and take right off because you may want to kill a little more time
Right.
if you want,
Exactly.
especially if they're having a good time. How's
Yeah.
that?
'Cause a lot of times I pull up over the stadium, I look at the
Yeah.
clock and I'm thinking, well, we're pushed, so let's grab a picture, let's go.
Yes.
Then sometime I'm like, God, I got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You gotta take them in a
Let's-
circle.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go over here. Oh, wait a minute, this would be a good shot over here.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm,
And try to kill as much time as
Yep.
you can.
Yep. Yep. So it's just going to be a lot of communicating with one another. Remember the buddy system when you guys come back here. Don't leave anyone alone, please. Please, 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 please. I mean, Nashville's growing.
I've got
It's
a,
becoming more fun and a little bit more dangerous too.
I've got a
And this
suggestion
is
for
a bad
bartenders and
area.
all.
If you think it's not,
It is.
Yeah.
Every area is.
About July, I know we kinda went over this a couple of years ago with Grant and all. I do the tailgates in the fall, and we don't care if you take beer, but please put some trash beer in the cooler. Let's try to get that full, because that's what I use
Yeah.
for Titans games.
skunk beer,
But
that's
it's
always
got, there's a
good.
system to it. You
Yeah.
can't just throw
System.
everything in there, you know, I've seen trash in there.
We'll
half
have
empty
enough by
bottles.
mid, you know.
No, yeah, don't
Yeah.
put empty cans in there. No.
Well, not only that, but then people throw like just bags of stuff.
Yes.
You can't do that. It's got
Yeah,
to be
don't do
organized,
that.
'cause
It
otherwise
stinks.
somebody
It's
has to do
horrible.
it, Yeah.
Yeah.
To be devil's advocate here, though,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that you organize that. You know I do. I know why y'all aren't doing it. You've just worked a 12-hour day. You don't want to
That's
go
true,
organize
that's true. I
trash.
understand it too.
So, but there
We
maybe
will
maybe
bring-
don't
yes.
do it every day. Some days throw it away. Maybe pick one day of your weekend you're going to dedicate putting overflow
I'll put
in
it
there.
the
That
back
way
of
it's
my
one
Jeep.
day, you know, you're going to have to organize the stuff an extra 10 minutes. Maybe just pick one day of your weekend, we'll fill that thing up. I'm not saying do it every day, but I do get that, like, we like to have the overstock, and it's good for the tailgates. It's good for our company parties. So maybe just pick one day of your weekend you'll dedicate to putting overstock in there. That way you're not having to stay later every shift.
Home, but like if you got two
Yes.
12-packs of beer left over, put one in there and take one home with you. You know, just
Throw it in the back of my Jeep. I got you all.
Miller Lite, we know.
No. Coors Light, Miller Lite, Ultra Light. I don't
But
care.
it does save the company money and does save time on Sundays where we don't have to go buy
Saves
beer.
John some money
Yeah.
too.
So here's a thought, and I'm glad whoever brought it up. I will rig something up where it's like I'll lay down like a pad, and then like I don't know what they're called. They're like strainers, and you guys can just empty out the plastic bags. It doesn't matter how it's on there. At least it's on there. It'll drip down on that pad. So
Okay.
that way it just won't be sticky
Yeah.
to handle and
Flies and icky maggots.
sticky gross.
Yeah, and if you got in there where you can halfway on Sundays, as long as we got those trays, we can go in
Yes.
there and stick it.
And y'all know, closed alcohol only. No half bottles of. We can't serve that to any. We don't. I'm not saying anybody's nefarious, but we don't know what these people do. We don't.
Yeah.
So only closed alcohol.
Yeah, I'm not drinking. Hoping.
Yeah.
Well, I know how late it is.
And
Not to
again,
contradict you there, Joe.
and again, this season when it starts to get crazy, we'll have that shuttle driver. We're gonna figure this out. There's gonna be some bumps along the way, but we'll try to make it
You're gonna
as
shuttle
smooth
every tour?
as possible.
Is that what you're saying? You're
No
gonna
shuttle. Well, yeah, that would be nice too.
Oh, that would-
But any people that are running late, that shuttle's gonna just pick them up,
Take them to wherever the bus is.
and then yes, so the driver can communicate with the bartender. The bartender can let the driver know.
Let the shuttle driver know, meet me at
Yeah.
bathroom break or whatever.
Wherever. Well, it has to be before then, because they're only gonna be run like 10 minutes late. Is what I'm saying.
I've picked them up off the street many times.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Maybe at a freaking
It's
red
not a
light,
problem.
whatever. I don't
Right.
care.
So if they're ready to roll at 5:30 and they're missing like 2 people, they're
They
rolling.
have to go.
Wait, when they ask us, can we pick them up down the street?
Yes.
Yes.
You need to discuss that with your bartender.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, driver or bartender, who is gonna get them people?
Do it with the bartender unless you see the shuttle driver right there.
You've already got them in.
Yeah, whoever the shuttle driver is.
And here's a suggestion when we get them
Bartender's
loaded,
gonna have to know though.
at
Either way.
At
So
5:30, about 1 minute before, get everybody sit down, so we're fixing to roll. If bartenders would introduce their driver, then the driver sit down, take off, and then they can finish their safety.
Yes,
speech
thank you
as
for
we
bringing
roll.
that up.
But I mean, I think it's a good thing for them to introduce the driver before we get going.
That's fine. Or, I mean, you can be sitting and you can look up in the mirror and do this. I've done this several times.
Right,
It
yeah.
just
I can't
however
twerk
it
sitting
works
down.
out.
I can't twerk sitting there.
I'm gonna clarify.
You're gonna see it.
I know, right?
Zach, you may be about to touch on this. We are
Yes.
doing speeches rolling
Yes,
from now on.
speeches rolling. We got to be out of there. Even honestly, if I were y'all doing, I know it's not crazy busy now. Practice it now. Practice it now. Pretend like you've only got this much time. Start working it. A system.
They
Start
tend not
doing
to
the
pay
system.
attention when you roll it now.
And
with
actually,
a big
it's-
group like that, if you have 30 people
If they want their
and you
alcohol,
start
they'll listen.
rolling,
That's right.
they're not gonna listen.
That's
to you.
right.
Bartenders has to put.
No
the-
music's going to be played. They're not going to be served any alcohol. They're going to have to listen. I know there's always some that aren't going to.
I love y'all, but that's a rookie mistake. Do not serve them booze before you've
Yeah.
given them the speech. It's not about them getting drunk in that first beer you hand them. They start socializing. They don't pay attention
Yep.
to you.
Yep.
I never
Yep.
let them use alcohol.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean,
And
when
it's
I did the
easier to hear.
speech, I moved. I constantly moved. And when someone wasn't paying attention, I'd call them out on it.
Yep. You have to.
You know? Yo, 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 eyes on me, eyes on me. The quicker you get,
I teach
get
her
through
pause.
this, you get
I know, I feel like I'm in the classroom.
I do. I teach her pause. I'm like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah.
the group is usually on your side when you do call.
Yes,
someone.
yes, because they want a cold one.
Yeah, they're like, listen to
Yeah.
her.
Yes.
And also, new drivers, when pulling out of the depot, take that right. Don't
Yes.
try to go across. They
Right.
fly around that corner and
Yes.
somebody's gonna hit you.
Yes.
take
And
that
reasonable
right.
speeds to and from the depot, please, guys. We're passengers too.
Oh,
Oh,
hang on.
yes,
Thank you. What we are going to do, we are going to make that happen. You will now stop at this railroad. Do it just like you're supposed to. Open the door, throw your hazards on, open the door. For two reasons, yes, we are a passenger vehicle, and we do have a passenger on, which is the bartender. And it helps because I know we're all excited, we want to hurry up and get back. It will stop you before those tracks, so you don't make a bartender do all of this shit in the back. So, yes. In fact, that should be in the manual that I will be giving drivers shortly.
Yeah, I think.
And it's part of the road test.
Passenger
Yes,
has to
yes,
have
it
to
is.
stop
It
at one,
is.
regardless if you have any.
Right.
Anybody on or not, right?
It is a law, you're supposed to be doing it, but we haven't done it.
No, we have that.
And I think about it every time I cross some railroad
Yeah.
tracks.
And then you do it anyway. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, it's good.
I'm kidding.
It's good. We're going to enforce it. We're going to make it happen. It's going to make
Right.
everyone happy. Good habits. Good
It's
habits.
a rule that I do every day, but when I came here, I was told I didn't have to.
Right. That is correct.
So
That is
you feel like
correct.
a renegade.
You don't want to get out of the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
And just remember, a lot of our issues have always been coming too close to any rail or telephone pole, pulling out sharp. If we have to pull out sharp, we're not going to pull out sharp because we're going to tear up the back end. We're going to wait till that person moves. Or don't let anyone make you pull too far forward at redneck to where you have to crank because you're guaranteed to hit that rear end.
We're gonna have security down there again
Yes.
this year? What's his name?
Sean, what is it?
Seth.
Seth.
See, he had that down, me and him, well, we didn't argue.
It's like the fifth pole or
Yeah,
something
he was
like
going,
that.
he's going, come on up, and I go.
He's
"Dude, I
a
can't
great
pull
dog.
that."
Yes.
Hold on,
He really,
goes,
really is a
No,
great
no,
dog.
I got it down. We've done tested. I said, all right,
Yeah.
I'm taking you on. And then sure enough, he had it where he knew.
Yeah, I think it is the fifth one.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And try not to park too close to that curb because I don't care if you're pulling out or not, you're gonna hit that pole. You're
Yes.
gonna hit it.
Yes.
So, space yourself about that far away from the curb.
Yep.
That way you're not gonna hit one of those poles.
Backing up, the last thing we want to do is any type of backing up. Every once in a blue moon, it's going to happen. This is where you're not going to back up until you get the bartender's attention. The music
Always.
has to be all the way down, all the way down. The guests have to zip it, sit their butts down. Otherwise, we're going to hit something. We're just going to hit something.
I always stand and thumbs up my driver, and then if they're getting close, I put a stop sign up. I make them clear the aisle.
Work out what your hand gestures, signals are going to be. Same thing with the front. And I just said it a minute ago, but don't let people try to park to where people aren't going to pin you in the front to where you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know what they, maybe they just got out of their car and went inside somewhere. Just think of absolutely everything. Think about when you're at red lights, when you go to make that turn. Look for people that don't want to wait for you. It happened to Sherry. That car came straight right in front of her. So just constantly look for people that are going to want a slingshot. Yes?
I want to backtrack to
Yeah.
when you, because we slid past it. When you said don't serve them before your speech, right?
Right.
Handling someone that has an open container and walks onto the bus. I was talking to Brandon, one of the bartenders from Redneck last year, and the law goes that you are allowed to drink on the streets if it's not in the container it was purchased in.
It's clear cut.
So if you pour your drink into a cup, like a homeless man can pour it into a cup and drink out of that, but you cannot drink out of the can. So
Correct.
anytime they're opening a can on the sidewalk, technically that's against the law unless they pour
Right,
it into a plastic
correct.
cup. And we're not giving them plastic cups till they get on the bus.
Right.
So there should be no reason for them to hop onto the bus with any kind of open drink
I
like that.
take all their drinks before I let them on the bus.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same way
Yes.
you
I
don't
didn't know
let them
any
walk
better. I'm
into
just
re-
like,
No.
give me that.
the
Yep,
same way you
yep,
can't walk
no,
into
it's-
a
Yeah,
bar
that's
or restaurant
good.
with an open beer
have to
or
have
they'll
that
kick you
stuff
out.
in hand.
Yep.
That's our bar.
Yes.
That's our
And some
our
people
space.
are,
Walk
like,
with an open drink.
Just unreasonable. I'm not saying like every single person.
Yeah.
What I always tell them though is the ones that absolutely will not listen to me, I tell them when you hit the sidewalk, you're on your own liability. I normally can get them all, but the ones that are irate, I don't stand there and waste the time to argue with them. You're on your own liability at that point.
Yeah, any open containers that they have that they are drinking out there, like you check in, say, this is fine, you can have it, but it's gonna go in the back. All alcohol has to come in the rear because you have to listen to a safety speech first, then alcohol is poured.
I have a question. So let's say we have stragglers or people that are running late.
Yep.
When it comes to the safety speech, when we pull out, we do the safety speech.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are late, do we say that it's up to the people to inform them of the rules?
I tell them to come to the back.
Yeah.
They can't drink till they hear the speech.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I give them the speech in the back.
That's a good question.
Because I'm not gonna, that's a great question. I'm not gonna rely on their buddies to tell them, because
Right.
they're gonna skip stuff.
Yeah.
And you can fly through it with them.
Okay, what are we gonna do with the fake ID situation?
Yeah, that's,
Are they getting on, not getting
I
on?
didn't let them on.
If they bring a fake ID, they knowingly try to put our company at risk. In my opinion, they don't come on.
Right.
Well, they're not
Right.
21 then, so
I
We don't
absolutely
let
agree
them
with that.
Right.
I do not want someone rolling
What
who was
about
trying
the
to trick
new
me
thing
to start.
that is supposedly some of them has like a red box around it,
Oh, you're talking about this
The Gold Star Real ID.
but they're saying they changed it, and even the ones that are
For
legal.
those underage you're talking about?
Yeah, there's something to do, it's on a license. David and them down there would probably tell us.
David's
Well, like
great
in-
with conducting those fakes.
Oh, yeah, cause they're
Yeah.
yeah,
trained
he
to
tells
legal.
me.
In some states, it's up and down when they're 18,
Oh, okay.
It
rather
differs.
than, the normal.
I have a question for the record.
Yeah.
Got it.
For the record?
No,
Point at me.
no,
backing up, backing up.
I don't know any of the bouncers' names at Redneck, but the one guy did tell me last night that whenever we need any help with IDs, they're
That would've
more
been
than
David.
they're
Yeah.
he's the one
they're
who-
more than happy to help us.
Yeah, he's really
And they're
great.
really good at
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he'll show it to you.
I know we're going to hard 21 and up.
There's an app.
I know we won't get an answer on this, but I feel like most people will agree with me. I would like to propose that when we find 3, I'll give 2 assholes that won't listen to their friends. When we find 3, the tour is canceled, null and void, and there is some kind of fee paid to the bartender and the driver. That's I just think once there's that many, like they are trying to pull the wool over our eyes. There are people on there that don't need to be drinking. It's a risk we don't need to take.
Yep, I agree.
So
their
I would
friends
say
are willingly
I would say 3.
doing it.
I don't have an issue with that.
And then you guys could work out, because I don't want, like, the drivers will still be on the clock, but I mean, I don't want us to get screwed by not having a tour. I mean, you don't normally get money off them anyway, but work out something where, I'm not saying it has to be, like, but something where if that is the case, we can be paid out of
I
that.
totally agree, because like your
It's
pedal-
too much of a risk.
like your pedal taverns, if their guests show up late, it's canceled.
It's
There's
canceled.
no waiting.
Yeah.
It's done. You
Yeah.
just lost all your money.
You lost all your money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's reasonable.
If
Yeah.
somebody's, if their
Just
their
saying.
their rule is if it's a private, if their rule is if someone shows up with a fake ID, they forfeit just one.
All right, what about the late night rolls that we usually get?
I haven't heard
There is the,
anything's changed.
anything
There's still a
after that?
premium.
Anything after 9 is an auto.
Okay, yeah.
And there will be, and the one thing we were catching was that privates were all auto, but we still had publics. This year, I believe anything after 9 will be a private and it will be
That
auto
is
grats.
correct.
We're going away with publics
Yep.
after 9 altogether.
That's a horror show.
Yeah.
And they don't pay nothing, they don't listen.
They're already drunk.
They're already blind running. Should have been cut off before they got on the bus.
Yeah. Some people
Yes.
have.
Yes.
And as far as publics go with late groups now, there is no holding. It's 0 tolerance. They are not there at loading time. You go, you do not pick them up.
And just
Fair
remember,
with other groups.
I myself voted out the late nights.
I like
You guys voted them in. Remember
did.
that. Remember
I
that
would've
when you
I
guys
would've voted.
want to
I
complain.
voted them out.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm done.
I voted them in. I voted them in as long as I'm paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Ann did a poll, and y'all gave the answers. So it went by that
I wish
poll.
Ann was here.
Well, see now, the only thing about that is drivers like Will, if we cut late nights out, he would lose.
That's what he said. He said,
Yeah.
"Don't take me out of the
I
mix."
just- I just now remembering
Yes,
that
yes,
poll now.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Y'all can have them.